Hello and welcome to Live in the Hive. I'm Michelle Eagleton and you're watching the only online magazine show dedicated to theatre across Greater Manchester. Now, how are we this week? Have we had a good one? Are you ready for some theatre action? Well, if you are in the right place. For the next 30 minutes, I've got some great guests from the world of theatre, and we're talking about some brilliant productions coming to our fair city. A big hello if you're watching on the I Love Manchester Facebook page, the iconic brand dedicated to community and culture. Or maybe you're a newbie watching on the Live in the Hive Facebook page. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, if you're watching this on catch up as well, do stay with us. We have got a really good show for you. Now, who have we got on that show? Well, I can tell you, we have got the people that were involved in these fantastic musicals. Coming up on the show, I'm going to be talking to Matt Cain. Now, Matt Cain is a writer who was originally from Bury. He's going to be telling me about his first ever musical, Drag Addict. It sounds absolutely fantastic. You are going to want to know a lot more about this. And the best thing is, it is based right here in Manchester. We're going to get that later on in the year. So we've got the lowdown on that coming up. And then we've also got the wonderful Gabriella Williams. Now, she is currently starring in the tour of Rock of Ages. If you have never seen Rock of Ages before, I think you are definitely going to love this one. It takes you back to the 80s, all the fantastic bangers and power ballads. We have got Don't Stop Believing, The Final Countdown, you name it. And she is starring as Sherry in this musical production. It's coming to Manchester next week. She's going to tell us all about it. And of course, every week on the show, we always like to tell you what is happening in the world of Greater Manchester theatre news. And we have got a little bit of an exclusive coming up as well, which you won't want to miss, and something that's going to be happening next Saturday in Manchester, which is tied in with Rock of Ages. Might give you the sense of wanting to rock out in Manchester city centre. More about that later. Now, we're going to start the show off with a fantastic guy who I had the pleasure of talking to earlier this week. I didn't want to stop talking to him. We got on like a house on fire. It is Matt Cain. He is a writer. He's had lots of novels out. Now, he has penned his very first musical. Well, I had to find out all about it. It's called Drag Addict. And here's Matt to tell me more. I have looked at your CV, and if we were to get in everything that you have done, I think this would be a couple of hours special show, Matt. You're fabulous.
Well, that's very nice of you to say. I mean, I went to do a talk to some LGBT kids at a school the other day, and you can see them thinking, oh, what do they want to do in life? And, I think my career has literally gone it feels like it's been a bit all over the place, but I've loved the things that I've done. I've absolutely loved it.
You have. It's almost like you have written your own story through this because, you've done entertainment journalism, you've written books, you've been editor-in-chief at Attitude magazine, you've won so many awards, you're sitting on panels, you've got a lot to do in Manchester Pride. I honestly, like I say, it's just where do you start? And you've been this little boy born in Bury, growing up in Bolton. What must you be saying to your 10 or 12-year-old self now, Matt?
Oh, that's a good question to start off with. It is really weird. When I was growing up in small towns, only 20 minutes on the train from Manchester, but it felt like another world before the internet. I'm a bit older than you, Michelle, as I'm sure you can tell.
Not that much, Matt, not that much.
But it did feel like another world, and you came to Manchester and it was so different, and you didn't really have a sense of the world outside your small little area. And I don't think when I was 12, I would have had any idea that one day I could be talking about my new novel and the new musical. First of all, because everybody hated gays in those days, and I never imagined I would be kind of celebrated for writing gay-themed work. And secondly, like the kind of background that I'm from, like a working class background, my mum and dad are both from council estates. I didn't know anybody who'd earned a living as a writer. I didn't know anybody, we didn't used to go and see musicals. So, you know, there's that saying, if you can't be it, you can't, if you can't see it, you can't be it.
Yeah.
I just never imagined that this was even a possibility for somebody like me. So I do sometimes think, what would he have made of it? But it would have almost been like I'm living on another planet now, you know.
When did it change then? Because I know you went to Cambridge. Was that kind of the turning point for you, the opening of the door to that other world?
Coming to Manchester was the turning point for me, actually. Going to Cambridge was great. And I must say, I went to state schools, I went to a comprehensive and a sixth form. You have to quickly put that in because people think, privilege, they think Cambridge is like in the same bracket as Eton and Harrow. You can actually get there on merit if you work hard. And when I was growing up and I didn't see anybody leading a creative life and earning a living from it, all I knew was you work hard at school. So on one, and you'll do well. So on one hand, I was doing that and just working hard. But on the other hand, that wasn't opening doors to me when it came to my spirit and my emotions. And it was coming to Manchester in the early 90s, which was a really exciting time for the city because it was all the kind of indie bands, your Happy Mondays and all that, and the Hacienda doing really well. But there were loads of pop bands as well, whether it was Take That, M People, Simply Red, that had a really strong connection to the city. It felt like the coolest place in the world. And at the same time, it had this gay scene that was really famous and opening up at a time when, just as we were coming to the end of the HIV/AIDS crisis, attitudes towards gays were improving. It felt like Manchester was the front line and the most exciting place in the world. And while going to Cambridge opened doors in terms of career, Manchester opened my mind and my soul and my heart and shifted the energy into a different gear.
And you're bringing that vitality with the musical, aren't you? Because this is a club that's set in Canal Street, and I just think it just sounds incredibly fun, and it's going to be amazing, Matt.
Honestly, Michelle, so when I write a book, I feel really excited about it and think I've done the best I can, but it's only me involved. So I can't kind of say, this is amazing, this is amazing. I can say with the musical, because I've done the script, David Andrew Wilson has done the music, and we've done the lyrics together, and Arlene Philips has been involved and is doing the choreo. So
Arlene!
Oh, I know, another Manchester girl. Because it's a group effort, I'm sometimes surprised by the brilliance. You know, the music, David is an absolute genius. And, you know, I grew up, music was really important to me. It was really important to Manchester. It defined the city, defined my life. It saved my life when I was growing up and feeling misunderstood and that everybody hated me for being gay. And I'd listen to certain pop stars, often Madonna, and I'd feel like finally somebody understands me. But I can't write music, I can't play any instruments. So to be able to have worked on this musical with a really generous, creative collaborator who invited me in and held my hand through the lyric writing process, it's been brilliant and I'm so excited. The whole thing is like a celebration of what makes Manchester so amazing and why we have to fight to keep that special spirit.
It's given me goosebumps. It really is. I'm so excited about this. So tell us the premise, because I've given a bit of it away. It's a club. So, it's on Canal Street. Go on, Matt.
Yeah. It's set in a nightclub on Canal Street. Its glory days are over. It's not as popular as it was. So the club is struggling to survive. The landlord gives the owner 4 weeks to turn it around. So he decides to reinvent it as a drag club because, as we know, drag is very popular right now. He recruits 6 drag queens. Can they put on a show, reinvent the club, and save it from developers who want to turn it into luxury flats? But what the owner doesn't know is that one of the queens, who comes from America, is hiding an explosive secret that, if it got out, could derail all his plans and bring it all crashing down.
Oh, exciting. So we've got loads of great characters there, haven't we? So we're going to have the owner of the nightclub. We're going to have these 6 queens. Where are you going to find them, Matt? Have you done any of the casting yet? Have we gone through the audition process?
Casting is underway at the moment. The owner of the nightclub is a drag queen called Dolly Ravage in his 60s, and he has been in the village for decades. He's the godmother of the village, the soul of the village, and he is horrified that gentrification is coming and that it's under threat, and he needs to fight to keep the flame burning. Act 2 opens with a song called The New Queen of Manchester, which celebrates everything that's good about the city. I said to David and Arlene right at the beginning, I said, other cities have a song like New York, New York, I left my heart in San Francisco, Chicago, my kind of town. I said, we need to write one for Manchester, which will celebrate that punky anarchic spirit and everything else that makes the city so brilliant.
I see that being performed on stage at Pride this year, you know.
I would love that. I would love that. You know what, Michelle? It brings a tear to my eye. I actually see that song being performed in rehearsal and in workshops, and it actually makes me so proud. It makes me tearful. You know, so God knows what I'm going to be like on opening night, seeing it in the theatre.
No, it is. It's all these things that you've got to think about now, because it is your first musical. So this is like a whole new ball game for you. I'm going to go back. I'm going to try and get names out of you for the casting. Did you have anybody in mind when you were writing it? Because you must have a vision. It's like with your books when you're creating the characters. There's got to be something that you've got in mind there.
It's an interesting question, and I do. You're right. That's a natural urge. What I tend to do is have them in my head as an inspiration rather than a hard, because you don't want to get disappointed. You don't want somebody to come along with somebody who's better in the role than you thought.
Yeah.
You know, so for example, we have Dolly Ravage, and the inspiration for Dolly Ravage for me was a Mancunian Paul O'Grady as Lily Savage, as you can probably guess from the name. But I'm not sure it would be right for Paul O'Grady, brilliant as he is, to play the character, because it shifted in a different direction. And Dolly Ravage has a very close relationship with his best female friend, who is straight cis woman, but she's kind of like a bio queen, as they call them, because she used to be a pop star. When she came to Manchester, she changed her name. She adopted a slightly different alter ego. Her name is Lenora Lavish, and her relationship with Dolly Ravage is kind of like RuPaul and Michelle Visage. We were thinking Michelle Visage, RuPaul. So you have these starting points.
Yeah.
I'm
thinking Denise Welch. Matt, I'm thinking Denise Welch. I'm putting her forward.
I love Denise Welch. I've met her a few times. I think she's amazing. I mean, what I don't know is, and I hope I'm not insulting Denise Welch here. She could be an amazing singer. What you've got to think is, can somebody sing? She's a brilliant actress. I don't know if I've seen her singing.
Well, I have news for you. Soldier that she was in, she released a record from that Simon Cowell produced. So there you go, top 2.
Oh, so she can sing.
You end up casting Denise. That's it. I want something in the programme, Matt, about me being your casting director, okay? Is that, can we have a high five?
Woo!
Oh, I love it when a new musical comes along, and that one sounds absolutely fantastic. Drag Addict. We'll have more from the creative team and hopefully the cast once they have been announced. So watch this space. It's going to be a brilliant musical. Can't wait. Very, very excited. Now, still to come on the show, I'm going to be talking to Gabriella Williams. She's going to be showing me how to rock out for Rock of Ages, which is coming to Manchester's Opera House next week. But before that, of course, every week we like to bring you this. Yes, it's time for Greater Manchester Theatre News, and this week we're taking a sneak peek at a production that is coming to the Waterside Arts Centre in Sale on the 31st of March and 1st of April. It's a reimagining of the 1980s John Godber classic Teachers. It's called Teachers Leavers 22, and it is shot into the 21st century, so expect even a little bit of TikTok. It's all seen through the eyes of Salty, Gail and Hope. And here they are to tell you more.
There they are. There they are. Look, hold the tension. Stop. No, have the idea. Look, we'll do a little thing. And we've got a video together so everyone knows what we're doing and what the play's about.
Salty, please, this is serious. Hi, my name is Gail Saunders.
I'm Salty.
I'm Hobby.
We wrote a play. You should come and see it.
And it's called Teachers Leavers 22. That angle, yes. It's a play about all of our teachers
That we made up.
and we get to play all of our teachers.
All of them.
Why are you both in detention?
Because I called Mr. Dean bossy. Not allowed to say it anymore.
Please, Hobby.
Yeah. Sorry. What's your time? Stop watching TikToks already.
It's got something for everyone. It's got music, it's got singing, it's got dancing, it's got TikToks, it's got teachers, it's got students. There's nothing else.
Why?
Because it's funny.
Teachers Leavers 22. Get your tickets now.
We're never going to sell the Royal Album.
Oh, shut up. Wait, your phone's on, your phone. Go.
Where's it? Where?
The red button.
Oh, yeah.
Well, if you fancy seeing a bit more of Salty, Gail and Hobby, get yourself down to the Waterside Arts Centre in Sale on the 31st of March and the 1st of April. That's when the world premiere of the touring production of Teachers Leavers 22 hits the stage. It looks very, very funny. Now, something else which is coming to our fair city, and this is next week that it opens. It's Rock of Ages, the musical. It's going to be on at Manchester's Opera House, and there's something very special happening on the Saturday night. Just before the performance, Rock Fit with Jenny, which is based in Prestwich, is going to be doing a flash mob. Yes, they're going to be heading down to the Opera House and entertaining everybody in the queue. So even if you're not going to see the show, maybe you just want to go and support them. They're going to be doing a medley to the following songs: We Built This City, Any Way You Want It, The Final Countdown, We're Not Going to Take It, and Every Rose Has Its Thorn. Some real rock anthem classics, and Rock Fit is all about rocking out, moving and having fun. It's a real dance fitness class, which is all set to rock and heavy metal soundtracks. And if you fancy finding out a bit more about Rock Fit, maybe you're in the area, then do give them a follow. They're on social media, they're on Instagram and they're on Facebook. And of course, I'll have more information as well about that flash mob. Well, talking about Rock of Ages, that takes me swiftly on to our next guest. She's called Gabriella Williams, and she is starring as the lead female in Rock of Ages, the musical. I met up with her earlier this week to find out all about it and what we can expect when it comes to Manchester. Well, first and foremost, I've got to say, I felt like I needed to rock out with this t-shirt for you, all right? Do I feel like I'm kind of one of the Rock of Ages gang now, Gabby?
Oh, you look on brand, yeah. Yeah, you'd blend in perfectly.
How much fun are you having on tour with this musical? Because it looks like a blast.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, really. I can't quite believe it's a job. It's so much fun. The music, the company members, I mean, it's ridiculous. I don't know if you've seen the show before.
I have. I was one of those people that was just standing up at the end, just thinking, oh my God, this is incredible. I mean, there's so many power ballads in there and songs to rock out to. I mean, Don't Stop Believing, We Built This City, I Want to Know What Love Is. I could go on, couldn't I?
Oh, all of them. Yeah.
Fact.
There isn't an 80s tune that, well, people would argue there are 80s tunes that could have been in there, but there's only so many we can fit in. You know, it's yeah, God, it's so much fun.
And what's it like playing Sherry on stage?
She's a farmyard girl, so she comes to the Sunset Strip full of, you know, starry eyes, and she wants to be an actress, and she wants to meet the love of her life, and she wants to experience the Strip in all its glory. And, you know, the first thing that happens to her is she gets mugged. She then goes on to get mugged again. She gets a waitress job. She makes all the mistakes. So she is naive, but she's still a rocker. You know, she's still a feminist. She's still hardcore. I don't like to think of Sherry as the traditional kind of wet blouse leading lady. You know, often the love interest is kind of written as a bit of a wet blanket, and I don't think Sherry and Drew are that. I think they're pretty cool.
And great songs. What kind of songs are we going to hear you blasting out, Gabby, to the audience?
Oh God, so many. She doesn't shut up. She sings Heaven. She said, this is going to test my knowledge now, because do I actually know the original singers of any of these? We sing Here I Go Again by Whitesnake, which is probably my favorite. Yeah, Hate Myself for Loving You, Harden My Heart, Shadows of the Night. Like, just there's no world where you could come and see the show and not know at least a few of the songs.
Absolutely. I mean, but that must be quite challenging, you know, packing all of them in, because one power ballad to sing is hard enough. But if you're singing quite a lot of them, Gabby, throughout the whole musical, you must come off stage and go, where's my drink?
Yeah. I wish it was Where's My Drink. Unfortunately, if I did that every night, I don't think I'd be able to do it. It's hardcore. It is really hardcore. I was really excited to take on the challenges. It's the hardest thing I've ever had, and I'd be lying if I said there weren't days where I was dreading it, thinking, oh my God, are we going to be able to do this again? But the adrenaline and the excitement, God, our band are amazing. You know, we've got this 5-piece band of absolute rock gods. And when those drums kick in and you hear the electric guitars, you're like, oh my God, this is amazing. And that kind of adrenaline, that'll carry you through, you know, 20 shows a week.
Absolutely. And the audience's reaction, because when I came to see it, oh my God, they go wild, don't they?
Yeah, they do. Yeah, particularly kind of a northern audience. I would argue the more north we get,
Absolutely.
the more fun.
I like to say that we're the best, Gabby. We're the best.
Manchester is definitely up there with some of the best audiences we've had. All of our audiences in Scotland are always amazing. But yeah, certainly when it gets to a Friday or Saturday night, oh, there's nothing like it. You know, when Final Countdown, or just all these, you know, power ballads come out, and you can hear the audience singing along, and they're belting. It's like a concert, and I suppose the storyline, it kind of comes second to the music, but God, people really root for you, you know, and towards the end when Drew and Sherry do to get together, you know, people are wooing, and it's great.
Spoil it now. God, spoiler alert.
Leave it out. It doesn't happen.
No, honestly, I mean, I think it is one of those where you think, of course, they're going to do it in the end. It's got to happen. It's got to happen. And not only, though, is it got, like we've just said, the great music. It's this really nice story. You've got a great cast. I mean, Kevin Kennedy, we take to our hearts here in Manchester because many moons ago he was in this little known soap called Coronation Street as Curly Watts. But by God, has he moved on now? He's just like, those days are gone because he is this full on West End musical theatre star rocker, isn't he?
He's phenomenal. Yeah. God, don't tell him that I said that.
Okay. We'll edit that bit out. We will.
Yeah. People don't realise, Kev has worked more on stage than he has on screen. Everyone knows him as Curly Watts, which, he was phenomenal at that character. But his CV is longer than my body. He's so experienced and he likes to play the fool. But you wait, when he picks up a guitar, the man is talented. Like, he can play the instruments, he can sing the songs. He's spectacular. Yeah, he's fantastic.
I'm sure he's been to Nashville. Honestly, it's one of these things that I'm thinking, many years ago, I definitely could see that he did this documentary where he went to Nashville, but the guy is just an incredible performer, which you really wouldn't have thought back in the day, but now it's like, get him on stage and he's really electric.
Yeah. He, like I say, he's the first person to play the Joker in the room, but he's a very, very clever man. Like, and the characters that he brings to the pieces he does are fantastic, and he's very musical, and he's a lovely company member as well. So we're very thrilled to have him.
I'm going to put you on the spot yourself though and ask you, what is your favorite bit of the show? What's that moment where you go, this is it for me, this is it?
So hard. The moment where I'm like, oh my God, this is just awesome. The last song is Don't Stop Believing. And when the intro comes in, just the piano, and it starts with just me and Drew and all of the other characters slowly come and join us. That's the one where the audience sing along. And there have been times where the audience have started singing before us and your heart just leaves your mouth. You're like, this is awesome. It's real magic. It does feel like you're transported a little bit. It's very rare that we have audience members get their phones out or film or things like that, because it does feel like the people who come to see Rock of Ages are 80s kids, and they really do want to be taken away and taken back to that youth, and be, you really can see everyone's really present and with you, and it's awesome. Amazing.
It's like being a rock star every night, isn't it, really?
Yeah, it's almost, I would argue it's almost better than that, because you feel like you've all just like gone on a bit of a journey together. It's really
See what
cool.
You did there, journey. The brilliant Gabby there, really whetting my appetite for Rock of Ages. It sounds fab, but that's coming to the Opera House next week. And of course, don't forget, Matt Cain was on earlier on telling us about a great musical which is coming to Manchester and this summer called Drag Addict. I've loved my guests tonight. I hope you've loved them as well. If you want to find out more about theatre and what's going on across Greater Manchester, don't forget, you can visit the I Love Manchester website. They've got loads and loads of information there. And if you want to follow us and see what we're up to throughout the week, then do check us out on Instagram and Twitter. We're at Live in the Hive 21. And of course, we are here every Sunday night on the Facebook channels of Live in the Hive and I Love Manchester. So if you liked what you saw, do spread the word and tell everyone about it. And we will see you next Sunday. Bye for now.